Thank you all for the support on my first video on YouTube. So today I wish to speak about the importance of a junior lawyer. And because it's the month of June and it's the month we remember the emergency of 1975, let me share a small story from the emergency. Now we all know the emergency came on account of the judgment of the Allahabad High Court, Justice Jagmohan Sinha. Now, that judgment came on 12th of June 1975 on an election petition where the election of Mrs. Gandhi was questioned in the Allahabad High Court by a rather colorful person called Raj Narayan, who had lost. And there's no way he would have defeated Indira, even if the grounds he raised in the election petition, namely one person called Yashpal Kapoor, who was a government servant who had tendered his resignation and then worked with Indira Gandhi, but the resignation had not been officially accepted. So it was like as if you've used a government servant in your private election campaigning. In fact, I think it's the New York Times which said that the Indian High Court has dismissed and disqualified a sitting Prime Minister for even something which would not be a traffic offense or something to that effect. Now, the story, and why I'm saying it's a very important story for young junior lawyers, is that when this was heard, Indira herself came to court, was cross-examined by Shanti Bhushan ji, and then when the verdict was reserved, there are a lot of stories about the judge being tried to be approached by the Chief Justice of the High Court, by many powerful people to disclose how he was going to rule, to tempt him with an elevation to the Supreme Court and whatnot. In fact, his PA, who was typing the judgment in secrecy, was also being followed by the IB, and it is said that he, on the advice of Justice Sinha, went incognito. So it is in all this secretive atmosphere that the judgment delivery day came. That was also the day the election results from Gujarat were coming, in which were a shocking defeat for the Congress. But that's another story for another day. Now, when the court was to sit, it was made very clear that no one was to clap, no one was to make any kind of political sloganeering and just hear the judgment. And Justice Sinha came on time and he pronounced the judgment. The rest is history. He unseated a sitting Prime Minister. Now, this is where the importance of a junior lawyer comes. In that whole legal team, when the judgment was pronounced, saying election petition allowed, the effective order, everyone was caught in absolute confusion or elation, depending on which side you were. And almost one thing was forgotten. And one young lawyer remembered that and then went back and told the court, can you please do that? And if that was not done, the history of India would have been different. And you know what I'm talking about? That young lawyer, he went and asked the court, can you just stay your judgment until we have an opportunity to appeal to the Supreme Court? And that is how that judgment was stayed. If that judgment was not stayed, then Indira Gandhi would have been automatically disqualified. That judgment was stayed, and then the vacation bench of Justice Krishnayar gave the stay on the judgment or continued the stay in the appeal by Indira Nehru Gandhi. Of course, the condition was a very humiliating condition, and the condition was that she will participate in all the discussions in the Lok Sabha, but she would not be allowed to vote in the Lok Sabha. Then emergency came very soon. But that little thought or wise action by the young junior lawyer of asking for an interim stay ultimately came to reward him. And do you know that one day that young lawyer was given, or rather he achieved, the position of the Chief Justice of India? Yes, I'm talking about Justice V.N. Khare, who was that lawyer who asked for that stay on the judgment. So remember, as a junior lawyer also, your importance is very, very much to a case. Never ever think that anyone in the legal team is less important than the top senior who's arguing. Everyone is important. Of course, the junior lawyer couldn't prevent this man, Morarji Desai, from finally coming. But he did create history. And I always cite the case of Justice Khare as an example of the importance of a young junior lawyer. Thank you for watching my channel. Like, share, and subscribe.